Hello and welcome back to our next Nälbinding for Beginners video. Last time we learned the York stitch, and this video we are going to learn how to join our York stitch in the round. So I'm using the looser thumb tension version as it's easier to see the stitches. First thing we need to do is get our two stitches onto our thumb, again with the one attached to the working yarn, the one that tightens at the bottom, and our working yarn going down the left hand side of our thumb. Now the tricky part with York stitch is because it's so twisted, it's a little harder to make sure you've got it straight before you join it. So make sure that you straighten that twist out and bring that tail around to the front. Okay, now just as with the York stitch, the Oslo stitch, we will be using the stitches that run along the very top of our row there. And as with last time, I am going to use the first two stitches to start that off. Okay, there they are there. So I've got two loops on my thumb. I've got my row straight. Now I go through from the front to the back in those two stitches, and then go down behind my two loops on my thumb, underneath the working yarn, and pull through. I don't mind that, that tail's just got in the way there. Okay, top loop off, just as we were before. Then we move to the next stitch. Through from the front to the back, down behind the two loops on our thumb, and behind the working yarn there, and then pull forward. Off with the top loop. And we continue that way all the way around in our spiral as we did before until we have the length we need. That again, we go from the front to the back on the stitch on the row, then we go down behind the two on our thumb, underneath the working yarn, and pull forward. And make sure our loop with our working yarn is at the bottom, and off with the top loop. Now you continue that around in your spiral, and that's how you join York stitch in the round. The thumb tensioned version. Now if you are wanting to join in the round and you're using the needle tension method, we put our loop with our working yarn on our thumb, and we have our other loop behind our thumb as before. We untwist our piece and we bring the tail back around. So to needle tension and join in the round, just ignore how tiny this round is, but anyway. So for the first one, we'll go through two stitches on here from the front to the back. Then we go from the back to the front, the loop behind our thumb, down behind our thumb loop, behind our working yarn, off with that thumb loop, and we tighten that, and then pull down and forward, ignoring that tail. Okay, so that again. We go along to the next stitch. We go front to back on the one on the row. We go back to front on the one behind our thumb, down underneath the one on our thumb, underneath the working yarn, thumb out, pull that tighter, and pull that forward. Just get that tail out of the way. Okay, and then we continue around as we did before. So I'm hoping you can see this, as I know it's a little tricky. Let's do that a few more times slowly. So the next stitch along, right there, we go from the front to the back, then the loop behind our thumb, we go from the back to the front, down under the one on our thumb, underneath the working yarn, push forward, thumb out, tighten that, and then pull forward. Okay, next one along, front to back, back to front, down behind both, thumb out, tighten, pull forward. Front to back, back to front, down behind both, the thumb loop and the working yarn, push through to the widest part of the needle, thumb out, pull that working yarn tighter, and then pull forward. Front to back, back to front, behind the thumb, under the working yarn, and forward. So I'll just go around and do that a few more times. And then you will see that you are joining in the round as you were before, except this time we're needle tensioning so that it is creating a tighter weave and a denser fabric. Now I'd also like to note that if you would like to make an even denser fabric again, what you are able to do is go through one new stitch, one old stitch on the row, front to back, then do the rest of the stitch as before, back to front, down under those two, tighten and pull forward. And then again, one new one, one old one, back to front, down behind the two, tighten and pull forward. And that just makes a slightly denser, stiffer fabric because you are effectively going through each stitch twice. So you're sort of doing that through the stitches. But again, personal preference. That is what I did on this one. So that's why that one is quite a dense fabric there. But But yeah, it is completely up to you. I hope this all made sense. I'll see you next time. Bye.